How do you talk to your spouse about porn when you feel so betrayed? Well, one way is to practice being kind. How do you talk to your spouse about porn use when you feel so betrayed? How about practicing being kind? K. Know your emotional gauge. Before you can hope for a healthy conversation about the devastation of porn, please understand your emotions. One positive way to do this involves writing out all your thoughts. Allow your jumbled thoughts to spill onto paper until nothing else comes. Read over what you wrote. Did you get it all out? Making a decision when under heightened emotional stress isn't advisable. Proverbs 3:7-8 cautions us not to trust our own wisdom. We must listen for God to speak into the turmoil and pain. As long as you aren't in immediate physical danger, take time to process your discovery. If you need a few days away to do this, then figure out how to make that happen. You might also need some professional help. I. Invite your spouse toward health. How often do you rush to converse with someone who tends to be antagonistic? Honestly evaluate how you speak toward your spouse. How would you evaluate your level of respect for your spouse? As the spouse of a recovering porn user, I am learning to watch what I say to my husband and how I say it. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 16:24, kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. When you can separate the struggle from the person, you tend to invite the other person toward you. Yes, you have pain to work through, but your spouse is a real person with needs, desires, wants, and fears. How do you want to be treated when you hurt your spouse deeply? You might need to take your relationship back to the beginning to rebuild your friendship and trust. See your spouse's struggle as a wound that needs professional help. Remember, your relationship is worth fighting for. N. Normalize the topic. Learn all that you can about porn addiction and its effects on the brain, self-esteem, and relationships. Understand the addictive nature of porn. When I finally understood that his porn use was a way to deal with his inner wounds, I could separate my emotions from the problem. At that point, I became part of his team. We learned to work together to heal our relationship. Talking with each other about what's happened, the triggers, and what you can do to support each other in your healing from this betrayal minimizes shame, fear, and embarrassment. The more you can discuss the struggles, the more trust you build. Talk about the science of why porn hurts the user, the spouse, and the relationship. Learn about God's design for sexuality and intimacy. Discuss how you can build your covenant relationship and why that creates safety and intimate joy for you. D. Deepen your commitment. Well, the success of the first 3 actions we just talked about hinges on this decision. At some point, you and your spouse need to choose to work through the wounds and fight for your marriage. If one of you has one foot out the door, it's difficult to find the courage to be vulnerable and open with the other. Without this decision, it's too easy to walk away and find someone new to do life with. Dave and I independently chose to remain married to each other. That mindset forced us toward a mutual goal to survive this crisis intact. Every obstacle offered the opportunity to grow and become stronger people. Eventually, we rediscovered why we got married. When a bump in the road felt like Mount Everest, and there were many, we remembered our commitment and pushed forward. Commitment provides the courage to face the struggle. What if you start out trying to be kind, but every attempt to talk with your spouse about the porn use ends in a fight? That's when you need professional help. Judging your spouse creates more barriers between you. Check your motives for why you want to talk with your spouse about the porn. What's the purpose of the conversation? If you feel stuck in the blame game, your spouse probably feels more shame, which pushes you further apart. Dave and I needed assistance to move beyond the high emotions, fear, shame, and denial to a place where we could practice kindness through these actions. The worst thing you can do is deny the problem and hope it'll go away. When you reach out for help, you discover you aren't alone, there is hope to recover, and find the freedom to live a healthy life. If you're not sure how to start, hop on over to KirstenDSamuel.com and click the blue button. Let's talk.